Hello and welcome to another episode of Wheeler's Sports Talk. This is going to be really namey and long, so I'm going to dive right into this. That is going to be the quickest introduction I've ever done. Right, let's get into it. So, first headline I want to go on about. When I first saw this, I laughed so hard. I thought, this is really funny. This has to be a meme. But then I looked at above the headline of it. I saw it was from a reliable source. And I still can't believe I'm going to be saying this. Tyson Fury has asked Wayne Rooney to be his sparring partner. Why? Of all people, you would think, I don't know, if you want a former footballer to be a sparring partner, you might think you'd want a goalkeeper, because they train to punch the football. I can't see Wayne Rooney as an outfielder, unless you're Diego Maradona, doing that job well. So that will be an interesting one, because this is obviously Tyson Fury training for the fight with Usyk. Honestly, I would think Tyson Fury could win that fight. But having Wayne Rooney to help him train, he's a footballer. As soon as they get punched, they go down. I saw one footballer get punched on the back of the head, like here. He got punched here. He's holding his head here. What a moron. Right, sad news going on to football. Sad news that Amir Nasser Azardini, I've told you this was going to be namey. If I've butchered that, I apologise. Amir Nasser Azardini has been sentenced to execution in Iran for standing up for equal rights and women's rights. This is not for him being kicked out, this is in Iran. So the Iranians have sentenced this guy to death. It shouldn't be the case. 21st century. Everyone's rights, everyone's freedom should be everybody's choice. Equal rights, human rights are not political issues. They are humanitarian issues. It's not political, and I really hope someone can get him out, someone can keep him safe, because no one deserves to be executed for that. No chance. And more sad news. That was football news. Oh yeah, more football news. This was earlier today. This is what I forgot about. I've got notes. Basically, I like to do off the cuff. I like to wing it. Improvise. Yeah, improv. Yeah. But this was news just in today that Karim Benzema has announced his retirement from international football. I didn't get a really good read on the article when it was posted, so I don't know much more information than that, other than I'm assuming his career is coming up. He wants to focus on club level football, do well for his club, and focus on that instead of carrying on for his country. Other news. Do I want to move on? Basically, there's a lot of news. I just want to figure out what I want to do. I have planned this. Bear with. Yeah, F1 news. We'll go all about the F1. So, more names. A lot happening in the F1 this week. A lot has happened. I'm going to start with the Williams team. Their team principal and CEO, Just Capito, have parted ways in F1 ahead of the 2023 season. They've got about 6 candidates. They've not named any of these candidates that are going to be taking this role up. But there's always, often in the sport, talk about the young talent, get the young talent up and coming. For Williams, I think they need someone with age and experience, a lot of experience, and just because they've not been a good team. I think I said this in the last video, that they've not been good. What they need to kind of try and do is, at least as a team on the constructors, is get 8th. If they can get 8th with the new guy that they're going to hire, that would be an achievement for them. I think that's what they need to aim for. At least not be last. get 9th, 8th, or 7th. If they can position themselves there, they have a really good chance of doing well. So with Ferrari, they've signed a new principal. They've got Fred Vasseur. Matteo left at the end of last month. They've managed to get the replacement of Fred Vasseur. Honestly, I remember Matteo being with Ferrari since I started watching F1 like back in 2005. So to see someone fresh for the Ferrari team, it will be an interesting season for sure for them. And that would be really, really interesting. And Andrea Seidi to Sauber as he leaves McLaren, and Andrea Stella named principal for McLaren. So these are all switches that are happening in F1. Like, we're used to seeing drivers switch roles, and that wouldn't really make news. The fact that there's all these team principals moving, it's going to be a really interesting season for F1. I can't wait to see what impact all these changes have. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. Was there anyone else on that list? I think that was it for the F1. If I've missed anything out, do let me know in the comments below. That's what I've been able to get from this week. As I said, a lot of news this week, because there's been a lot happening on the horse racing front. So the BHA, they made a statement on the weekend, during the week for the weekend. They have stated that they're not going to reschedule any lost races from the Saturday due to weather. Therefore, Ascot has not been going ahead and not being moved to another day. This has been happening for ages, that they're not going to reschedule. But what they've done is they've added the long walk hurdle that will be taking place at Kempton on Boxing Day, which I'll be going to. I've got tickets booked ready for Kempton, so I'll get to see the long walk hurdle, which I'm really excited for, because Ascot with long walk hurdle, it's got a little bit of prestige around it. It's an exciting race. It's interesting. So I think they did need the long walk hurdle to take place. I'm glad they've rescheduled that. But yeah, there is sad news in the horse racing world with the death of Morgan Taylor. She was racing over in New Zealand. She's an apprentice jockey. Trained over here, raced in New Zealand. She had a fall. I think 4 others were involved in this, and unfortunately, she passed away. So condolences to friends, family, connections as well during this difficult time. Frankie Dettori has announced his retirement at the end of the 2023 flat season. This will be his last, so this is going to be an emotional farewell tour, if you like. So he's going to go through all the flat season. I think he's going to finish on the Breeders' Cup. I think that's going to be an interesting year for him, and I wish him all the best with his rides. And yesterday at Thurles, which was like the only jump racing that was happening, this is over in Ireland, Davy Russell has announced that he is retired. So yeah, that was his last race on Sunday. I thought he'd go for the Cheltenham. I'm surprised he hasn't. Like, I thought he would go for the Cheltenham Festival. He decided to end it on that day at Thurles. I'm surprised he didn't want to do the festival, to be honest. Like, he's had 25 winners there. He's a great national hunt jockey. Thurles is an interesting choice for an option of his caliber. I guess he just wanted to keep it on the down low, keep it quiet, you know. But yeah, that was a surprising one, actually. Yeah, we wish Dettori a great year and Davy Russell all the best for the future. And there's tennis news. There's a bit coming from the tennis news, and of course it's coming from the Nick Kyrgios camp. He's been pretty vocal about his girlfriend and stuff like this, so this is what's happening in Nick Kyrgios' world. He would have preferred to have stayed at home, but his girlfriend wants to see Paris, so he's entered the Roland Garros because he wants more money. The dude is just an idiot. If you've got natural talent and you're a great sportsman and you're good at what you do, I don't understand why you hate it. There's so many people that would love to be in a position where he's at, where he's a seeded tennis player, where he's gone to all these different places like the US Open, the Australian Open, Wimbledon and stuff like that. There's people that would sacrifice limb, bones, sweat and tears to be in a position like that where he can actually play, where they can actually play. But no, he's like, I'll tell you who he reminds me of. Snooker player, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Great snooker player, there's no doubt about that. But he always, in any interview, goes on about how he hates it. Why? You're good. I don't understand why you'd hate it. But good news coming from the tennis world on the ATP tour. And that's Juan Carlos Ferreira. More names. I do apologise if I've mispronounced any of these names. Juan Carlos Ferreira, who coaches and helps a young up-and-coming tennis star, Carlos Alcaraz, has won Coach of the Year by the ATP. Alcaraz, did I just say Alcatraz? I meant Alcaraz. Age 19, has had a standout season that saw him capture 2 ATP Masters, 1,000 titles, and his maiden Grand Slam crown at the US Open. That is an accolade. That is an outstanding resume for a guy only 19 years old. Like, he's going to be the next Rafa Nadal. No doubt about that. This guy is going to be a star. He's a standout talent, that is for sure. And news from the Aussie rules world. Richie Vandenberg, board of the Hawthorn Footy Club. So the way this works is a bit like in our football. You have owners, you've then got managers. And I think some clubs have like board of directors. I think we do. In Australia they do. Richie Vandenberg, he's on the board for the Hawthorn Footy Club. He's quit the club's board because of a former player, Andy Growers, becoming the president of the Hawthorn Footy Club. So the president is like the owners of the club, and they're overseen by a panel of CEOs, and they vote in, or they say if he'd make a good president, or if he won't, or what changes can be made to the club to make it better. It's like the CEO oversee the president, but then the board oversee the CEOs. So there's been a bit of drama in the Hawthorn camp because Richie Vandenberg leaving the board, that's huge in itself because now they haven't got a board. They haven't got a guy on the board to oversee the CEOs, but now we've got a president. So without having a president, the board and CEOs have had struggles. So now what's happening is they got the new president, there's been drama, he's decided to up and leave. That is a shock. That is a surprise, to say the least. And in the AFLW, so this is Aussie Rules Football League Women's, Jess Hosking has avoided conviction. Basically, she was arrested for drunk driving on a jet ski. You know that's when it's nearing Christmas. When you hear stories of someone from a band over Christmas, you've all heard the story, died in a jet ski accident. That's when you know it's the festive period, because that story always ends up being a thing. This is no different. Merry Christmas, jet ski involved. She was convicted of drunk driving, so she was arrested. The court cases happened during this week. So this was about the end of last month. She was arrested, trial. The trial was to happen. This is how the conviction went. I've got it written down here. AFL star avoided conviction for jet skiing during the holiday on the Gold Coast. Jess Hosking from Richmond was instead, this is a quote from the Herald Sun. Jess Hosking from Richmond was instead, I can't read my own notes. Jess Hosking from Richmond was instead ordered to pay an $800 fine for her ill-considered conduct, where the court told her conviction could affect her social well-being and charity work. Well, I'm sorry, but if you're a charity, you don't really want someone who's drunk on a jet ski representing your charity. Like, could you imagine the Samaritans or Bernardos? Oh no, children, they're going to help you today. She's been drunk on a jet ski, but don't worry, she's representing us in a good manner. No! Like, how? I don't understand. I understand the fine. The fine seems fair, but of course a conviction, well, it doesn't matter. It's in the newspapers, you know, it's in the headlines, it's splattered everywhere in Australia. So technically she's already damaged her social well-being and charity work. She was drunk on a jet ski. It's not exactly, you know, she's meant to be a role model to people. That's not... Oh, who is the judge for this court case? Her mother. Like, it makes no sense. A court told a conviction could affect her social well-being and charity work. Like, really? Come on. And yeah, that's all the news this week, actually. Yeah, so lots happening from the F1 world, a lot happening in horse racing, and Nick Kyrgios being Nick Kyrgios, and AFL and judges being ridiculous. And that's all the news this week. I hope you all enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.